One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.
Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in this beautiful planet of ours. This is Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. I am your host, Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector. Happy New Year, happy 2021 to you. Sorry for the late start, still a little, I guess you take a month off and I'm a little rusty getting back on the air. But I just want to make sure that the sound quality is okay. You can see I got a new setup for my podcast, for my shows. So I just want to make sure that everything is broadcasting as it should. So let me just go over to Facebook here where we're actually broadcasting, I believe, live. So hopefully, wouldn't that be something to start 2021 off and not be broadcasting? So give me 1 second here. Grab your coffee, grab your tea. Got a great message for you this morning. Looks like we are broadcasting. So when you go through a different platform, you guys, it's a little bit more chaotic, I guess, versus just going off the phone. So I'm just going to go over to my Intuitive Prospector page. So grab your coffee, grab your tea. Just want to make sure that I am broadcasting out. So like I said, bear with me. And if I am, that would be fantastic. Okay, let's turn up the volume. Prospector page. Okay. All right. All right. So it looks like we are a go. We are broadcasting. So good morning to you. Happy New Year. Wherever you may be in this beautiful planet of ours. Thank you for joining me today. Got a couple updates for you. Going to give you some inspiration talking about what 2020 was and what 2021 is going to be. So let's go ahead and put on those glasses for 2021. Grab your coffee, grab your tea. I'll kind of explain how the show works. I'll just put these. Where can I put these? Oh, I can't hang them from anywhere. But you can see 2020 is over. We're banning 2020, no more. And how this show works, if you're new to the show, let me know where you're from. Like, subscribe, share, smash that like button or smash that subscribe button, as I like to say. And how this works is every Monday morning, I come on live at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's Seattle time zone. And I've broken the time zones down in the description. So if you're in Colorado, it's 9 a.m. If you're in Chicago, it's 10 a.m. If you're in Boston, it's 11 a.m. If you're over in London, I've got some colleagues and friends in London, it's 4 p.m. If you're in Rome and Italy, on that, Central European, that's 5 p.m. If you're enjoying the nice weather in Hawaii, it's 6 a.m. So I try to be here every Monday morning. This is a motivational, inspirational encouragement show, and I also give messages for the week ahead. And then at 8:30, stick around and I'll come back on for the Healing Cafe, where I do live interactive readings through the Zoom platform, through the Facebook Messenger or Facebook messages, and also I have my business line in case people can't connect via Zoom when I send them the link. So good morning to my team behind the scenes that help me every Monday morning, that volunteer their time. I hope you are doing well, and thank you for being a part of the team and the inspiration and the motivation. You may have noticed that there's a new flyer. There's a new logo for Metaphysical Mocha Mondays with Marc. Like I said, I've got a little bit of a new setup, new microphone, as you can see, for my podcast, my show. So hopefully the sound quality is coming through loud and clear. And how this show works, I started this show about 3 years ago, maybe now. And I started by just with a cup of coffee, and I would look in the coffee, and you can kind of see the coffee here, and what kind of picture I see in the coffee. For those of you that follow the old, psychic, some still do it, the crystal ball, the tea leaves, what are in the tea leaves? Mine is the cream in the coffee. And what does the cream symbolize? What does it remind me of? And this morning, it actually looked like a moth, or not a moth, a caterpillar, I should say. So it had this caterpillar. And what that does is it gets me, when I'm on my mat meditating, right now it's being taken over by Grogu, for all you Star Wars fans out there. Some of you know him as a child, or Baby Yoda. But what it does is it inspires me to think about what I'm going to talk about on today's show, because I don't have any script. I don't have any planning. It's all live and it's all improv. But I want to just say thank you for joining me in 2021. I took the month of December off. I call that my spiritual maintenance month, where I don't do any readings. I don't do any live shows, no podcasts, no Inspired Living Radio, nothing. And I'm busy. I've got 3 back-to-back readings today and all throughout the week. And I'll be back on the air for Inspired Living Radio next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific. So make sure you can get on the link in the description field down below. And I will be talking about 2021 numerology and what I see coming up for 2021, but I'll also be recapping my predictions that I did for 2020, or what I call the Roaring 20s. So I wanted to let you know some updates before we get into today's message. So grab your coffee, grab your tea. I just want to give a shout out. This was a gift to me from one of my students, Jane in Wales. Thank you for my coffee cup, Yoda Best. So Yoda Best. So thank you for that. I got a new deck of cards sent to me as well that I use on my show. So Debbie Hardy, thank you for the new deck of cards, and I'll be incorporating those this year. And then also I got a Buddhist boot camp book from Mary Lou. Thank you for that, Mary Lou. I appreciate all the gifts that I get from any of my fans, my clients, my students. I really appreciate that. So some of the updates, why I took the month off. I took the month off from a public facing, but I did a lot of behind the scenes work. So I wanted to let you know some of the updates that I have now that we're back for 2021. Whole new year, whole new energy, whole new focus, whole new way of living. We're going to put 2020 behind us. We will still have to deal with COVID for a while. That's going to be with us until, we allow science to kick in fully and get vaccinated and herd immunity and coming together in agreement that there is really a pandemic out there. But it will be with us in 2021. That's not going away. But you may have already felt the shift. May have felt a difference in what 2021 is going to be. And 2021 is the year of the 5, and we call that freedom, love, and adventure from a numerology standpoint. So there's going to be a lot of love, there's going to be a lot of adventure, and there's also going to be a lot of freedom. Now, I don't know what exactly the freedom is going to look like. Could be freedom from COVID fully in 2021. It could be freedom from what we saw in 2020, racism and really bad politics and really poor leadership. So maybe it's going to be freedom from that. I'll be talking about that more on my live broadcast next Wednesday. So I hope you'll join me for that free broadcast over on Om Times Radio, which is Inspired Living Radio, and we're going into our 6th season. So we've been on the air for six seasons. Also want to let you know that I'm going to be doing live video readings. So why I took the month off is to also set up live video readings, because we're going to be in this virtual reality for a little bit of digitally connecting. And so now when you want to do a reading with me on either Best American Psychics or Best Psychic Directory, two of the professional directories that I'm a part of, where we've been tested, we've been vetted, there's testimonials there, you can read my background, but you'll have the option now of actually doing live video just like this, just what we're doing here through those two platforms. So I'm excited to be offering phone readings, chat, email readings, and now live video readings streaming through those two platforms. So I hope that you'll check that out. You can also find me now over on TikTok. Yes, I finally gave in and I went to TikTok. It's actually pretty cool. I learned some pretty cool stuff over on TikTok. So if you want to follow my videos over on TikTok, you can follow me at the Intuitive Prospector or the Intuitive Prospector, and I'll eventually put a link up over on my website at marclainhart.com. You can also follow me now over on Insight Timer, which is free meditations, lectures. There's guided meditations. I've got my new meditation, The Pathway for Self-Forgiveness, is up, and it's already received a lot of feedback, so I appreciate that. So thank you for listening to that. You can also become now a patron and a member of the work I do. I actually have a monthly membership. That link is in the description field and over at marclainhart.com, where every month, if you do a membership from $2.22 to $11.11 monthly, there's a lot of benefits that you're going to be able to take advantage of, including readings, including early access to my events. So I hope that you'll check that out and become a patron of my work. And of course, new Inspired Living Radio shows. I'm proud and happy and humbled to announce that I will have Mr. Don Miguel Ruiz at the end of January talking about his new book. If you don't know who he is, he's the author of The 4 Agreements, and I was able to secure an interview with him. So I'm looking forward to that as well. What else? I've got my Alexa up here. Alexa became part of my studio now. So if I say, Alexa, open up Positive Living, you can get spiritual daily tips from myself and other colleagues through Ariel, spiritual community that I'm a part of. So let's see if she'll do it. Alexa, open up Positive Living. Let's see what she says. She's right here.
Welcome back. Ask me to play a daily tip, or ask me a question about dreams, intuition.
Alexa,
feng shui.
Play a daily tip.
Stimulate your intuitive mind.
Alexa,
How?
play the next tip. Sometimes she'll do it, sometimes she won't.
Sorry, I'm having some problems.
Alexa, play daily tip. Hello there. I hope you're having a fantastic day today. I'm Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector and Spiritual Medium. Do you ever hear the voice of someone in the spirit world? I know that I do. Today's sign is when you hear a positive voice with a quick message. This connection can take place within our ear, our heart, outside of the body. And it's a great reminder that the spirit world is working hard to get our attention by manifesting their energy into a physical voice or even a vibrational tone that can be heard by the human ear and can sometimes even be heard by others or within a small group. Check back often for more signs, symbols, and synchronicities with Ariel's Positive Living Daily Tips. Have a great rest of your day. All right, so
would you like Alexa to send you info to your mobile device?
No, thank you, Alexa. So I now have Alexa as part of my studio. It's really nice because when I'm doing spell check, or I can do music or meditations, and then you can ask Alexa to open up Positive Living, which is my tips, daily tips, signs, symbols, synchronicities, where I talk about psychic, I talk about mediumship, I talk about the spiritual journey, and Alexa will do that. So let's turn Alexa off, And let's keep going. So those are just some of the new things that I've been working on this month that I took off. And of course, I've got my new articles that I'll be posting here and sharing with you, including my latest article. I'm now a featured writer for Om Times Magazine, Ariel Spiritual Community, and a new featured writer for West Seattle here in Seattle. I'm writing once a month, and my latest article for what I see coming for 2021 is up and available, and I'll put those links. All the links, you can go just to marclainhart.com, internet search the Intuitive Prospector, and from marclainhart.com, you can pretty much get to all the links, from the radio to my latest article, to my professional directories to scheduling a reading with me, to my shows and YouTube channel. So make sure to follow me on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or Twitter or Facebook or whatever you find in social media, because I'll be talking about that on my show and in my predictions about what I'm seeing for the Internet 2.0 and how a lot of social media is going to change because of what we saw in 2020 in the last few years, that social media has created a great divide and a great indifference with people. And I think we're going to see some cleaning up of that as well. So again, if you're new to the show, welcome. I'm here every Monday morning starting at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or Seattle, Washington time. And then, of course, the time frames depending on where you're at in the world, because we have a global audience. So let's take a nice deep breath. Let's welcome 2021 in officially. Grab your coffee, grab your tea. You're the best. You're the best. And again, thank you for tuning into today's show. I will be live in the Healing Cafe for about an hour after this show at 8:30. Let me check the time. So we got about 10 minutes, and I'll come back live in the Healing Cafe and do live readings. And you can ask me something for inspiration, motivation. Could be psychic, could be mediumship. But I also got to preserve my energy because I have 3 back-to-back readings today. So it's going to be a very busy day. I'm jumping back in the deep end of the pool. Just turning my volume up, make sure we have the volume. In that, in case somebody wants to call in as well. So today I wanted to talk about what I saw in 2020. My predictions show that I did on January 8th. I talked about the great coming together. I also talked about how 2020 was going to be our roaring 20s. It was going to come in a big way. And I wasn't sure exactly what I was seeing and what I was feeling, but I knew that there was going to be a lot of chaos and a lot of destruction, because in numerology, the year of the 4, which was last year, 2020, which is gone, it's over. That is called the master builder or the dedicated worker. So I knew that there was going to be a lot of stuff that we were going to have to address to tear down old ways of being, old ways of thought, how we treat people, equality, racism, systemic racism, politics, pandemic. I didn't see the pandemic, to be honest with you. That wasn't in my forecast. I did hear about it in Christmas when we were down in Mexico, in Cabo. We actually heard from a couple that had gone over to China, had a business there, and they were talking at that time it was China's Black Plague is what they called it, or what they referred to it as. And I kept an eye on it, and I thought it would turn out differently, and it probably could have. That's why leadership matters, and that's why unity and togetherness matters. And I think that's a lesson that we're learning as well from this pandemic. But what I did see, the forwards I saw from 2020 as we move into 2021, or the year of the 5 energy is a completely different shift. And I call this, today's message is 2020 is known as the caterpillar. 2021 is going to be the butterfly. And in order to become the butterfly, from the caterpillar to go to the butterfly, it does require a season of isolation. Now, there's still going to be some more isolation for us here in the United States, over in England, perhaps Canada. Some of the other countries like New Zealand, they've gotten their stuff together. South Korea, they've gotten their stuff together, and they've figured it out, and they've worked together to get past this. We're going to require a little bit more of isolation before we become that butterfly effect, if you will. And I anticipate April, May, and June, those 3 months of really starting to see the shift, feel the shift, and really start to get back to some normalcy. Now, we're not going to go back to the normal that we know, because that wasn't working before. And this is a big historical paradigm shift that I talked about. And I will bring this up on my show. I like to recap, or what I like to call the scientific method, when it comes to predictive work or forecasting, like the weather, when you are seeing things in my meditations or my dreams, or just a claircognizance, which is a sense of knowing something. I forecast that out. Now, am I going to be right on everything? No. Am I going to take a lot of riffraff for what I say? Yes. And that's been the interesting thing about 2020, because I also I was asked to do an article on who I thought would win the election. And I did see Joe Biden winning the election. I did see the Electoral College of him winning by, I had said over 5 million. It ends up being closer to 8 million. And I saw the Electoral College at 305. He won, I was 1 point off. It was 306. But in doing that, people, automatically assume that I'm a liberal, and just the comments and a lot of clickbait, a lot of clicking, and a lot of trolls I learned from this year. And I've also learned that people encourage you, and I encourage you, and I motivate you, and I inspire you to speak your truth and to go out and make a difference and be the change in the world, to become that butterfly from the caterpillar. But at the same time, there's going to be some people that tell you to speak up. And when you do speak up, they're going to tell you to shut the hell up. That's just the world we live in. But find your authentic self in 2021. Find that butterfly, leave the nest, learn to fly, be your authentic self. And you can be always kind, caring, and compassionate. That's what I always teach on. But sometimes it's not easy, because I had a lot of people come at me in 2020. I had to do some social media friend cleanup with people who I thought were my friends and had a moral compass. Found that not to be true. And what, Angelo, oh my gosh, need more coffee. What's her, forgetting her name, but she talked about when people show you who they are, believe them. Maya Angelou. So she had talked about when people show you who they are, believe them. And I think that's what 2021 is going to represent. It's going to be finding your pathways, your authentic self, not putting up with a lot of the BS that we did in 2020. I think we're going to see an internet 2.0 and social media, where the government's going to clean up some of the social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google, Instagram, and kind of get a hold and get kind of wrangle some of this misinformation and lies and propaganda that's been flying through. And if you've not seen The Social Dilemma on Netflix, I highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. It was very eye-opening from how algorithms work to how social media works, how you can see one thing and a person can see a completely different other thing. And we wonder why we have two different senses of what is reality and what is lies and conspiracy and misinformation. I believe and I feel that that's going to be a huge focus in 2021, as well as getting past this pandemic and coming together. And the 4 words that I talked about in my predictions last January, this time last year, I talked about the great coming together. I didn't know exactly what that would look like, but now I can see that we all need to come together if we want to really get past this in not only politics, but in pandemic. So politics and pandemic, we need to come together or it all falls apart, because a house divided doesn't stand. And we're kind of in that format here in the United States. So the great coming together, sustainability, starting to get to a place of sustainability and what that looks like for the planet, for society, for culture, for human beings. So great coming together, sustainability, self-mastery. We saw a lot of people in 2020 that did not self-master themselves and kind of lose themselves in a way. And of course, homeostasis, which homeostasis is the balance between fight or flight, and that's where the nervous system comes to a place of calmness and homeostasis. So those are the 4 words that I had talked about in 2020, and what I see coming in 2021 is we move into that butterfly, from the caterpillar to the butterfly in this last year of isolation that we've all been in. We have a few more months of isolation to go, but it is going to the storm is going to start to let up. Those big waves that we've been thrown about the last 9-10 months will start to lower, and we will get to some smooth sailing. And again, as a numerologist, I look at the energy. And one of the things that's been interesting is the people that are stepping into office have a lot of 5 energy. Kamala Harris is a life path 5. She's also 55. So that was interesting from a vice president standpoint, something I looked at in my predictions. We're going to have a few astrology events happening in 2021. So I hope you'll join me on my show or click on my prediction newsletter for Soul Adventures when that comes out, because I'll be talking a lot about that. And of course, one of the other things that I talked about in social media and the internet 2.0 is because one of the directives, it's Directive 230 or Initiative 230, which is social media, but 230 adds up to the number 5, and we're going to be in the year of the 5. So that's why I think we're going to see some real big focus on the social media companies and how much freedom they have and kind of locking down. Some will call it censorship, but at the same time, if you don't have some sort of censorship, there's, I believe in free speech, the First Amendment, freedom of press, which is the 4th estate. But if you let misinformation run rampant, if you let lies and propaganda run rampant, that's how a country falls. That's how a society falls. We saw it with Hitler in the 1930s and the lies and the propaganda and the misinformation. And we saw a lot of that here in the United States. And I think we're going to get a hold of that in 2021 and start to clean that up. So we, you know, when somebody posts something that's a conspiracy theory or a flat out lie, social media is going to flag and say this is not a true statement. And I've already started to see a little bit of that. And I think that's where we're going to go. So, we're going to move into the butterfly of 2021, freedom, love, adventure from a numerology standpoint, and I'll have more details on my first broadcast of Inspired Living Radio, and of course my news article, Soul Adventures, and my latest article with the Seattle, West Seattle News here in Seattle, Washington. So I want to give you your crystal for today as we set the tone for moving ahead and moving into a much more inspirational, encouraging, motivational year of 2021, the year of the 5. And of course, I want to give you a stone that starts with cleansing the electromagnetic pollution that you've been associated with in 2020. So we went New Year's Day, we jumped into Puget Sound, we did the polar plunge to clean off 2020. We didn't do it last year, and look what happened. So now we're like, we're going to go jump in the Puget Sound and wash this energy off us. So Lepidolite, so Lepidolita, lapidolite is a great stone. It's purple, it's pink. It comes from the United States, Brazil, the Dominican Republic, Madagascar. But it's really great to absorb. If you place it by your computer, I don't have one to show you, but if you place it by your computer, it's really good at cleaning electromagnetic pollution off. And it also is, when lepidolite takes mica-like form, its properties are greatly amplified, and this is the most efficient mopping up tool. So I figured it was a good stone to have, a good crystal to work with in 2021 to kind of mop up all of what 2020 was, all of the chaos, the sadness, the tragedy. My heart goes out to anybody that's been impacted by COVID. I've been personally, my family's been impacted by COVID. I've lost a friend and I've lost a colleague to COVID. And my heart and my prayers and my thoughts and intention for healing and better days for anybody that's been impacted by COVID. If you've lost a family member or a friend worldwide, I know we've lost a lot, and it didn't need to be this way. That's the tragic part of it, you guys. It's so sad. I've worked in healthcare for 25 plus years, and I still work there part-time in healthcare inspections, and it didn't need to be this bad. And this is a lesson from history to come together, work together, because we don't work together, people lose lives and things fall apart. So use some lapidolite to help you on your journey to cleanse out the electromagnetic fields, that negative stuff. And like I said, in 2021, I'm forecasting an internet 2.0. I'm seeing a lot of cleanup in how social media works and how people interact. I want to give you your card for today, which is creativity, great number, the power of yellow, the number 3, which is a number of balance, mind, body, and spirit, and of course the creativity of find your creativity in 2021. That yellow is that solar plexus, which is around the belly button area. So trust your gut, trust and lean into your creative flow this year. This is a great year to do that. With the astrology I've been seeing and forecasting, some of the we're going to have a few Mercury retrogrades. That's going to happen every year, but we're going to also have some full moons that are pretty powerful and some eclipses that are pretty powerful in 2021. But nothing like what we saw in 2020. There was some major historical events that I haven't seen in a long time. Everything that came together, including the Great Conjunction on December 21st, where you got to see the Star of Bethlehem, not seen in 800 years. So there were some major events that took place. And I always remind people, pay attention to your external environment, because it does impact your internal environment and the journey that you're on. So also want to give you your positive mantra for this week. I allow myself to speak my truth. So make 2021 your year to speak your truth. And again, speak your truth and always stand up for what's right. Always stand up to a bully, and always, speak words of kindness, caring, and compassion, because it's going to take you a lot farther. Words of honey take you a lot farther than words of vinegar. Trust me, I know. And the last thing I want to share with you, I'm going to do something different, but a student of mine sent me a care package. And again, thank you, Jane, for the wonderful gifts. I got a coaster, Yoda Best. I got my coffee cup for Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, Yoda Best. And I even got a little Jedi book, Jedi Mind. And what I wanted to read to you today, just to help you with 2021, and then we'll get ready for the Healing Cafe, it's talking about acceptance. And it says, only you can change yourself. And that's from a character in the book called Bendu. And it says this: practice self-acceptance, and this is a meditation. Sit with your back straight but relaxed in a comfortable position. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths, inhaling slowly through the nose and out through the mouth, then breathe naturally. So let's try that. In through the nose, breathing in what you want. Exhaling what you don't. Breathing what you need. Exhaling what you don't. Breathing in your inspirations and your intentions. And releasing stress and worry and fear. And when you just do that 3 times, and that's acceptance, you can say to yourself as a positive mantra, when your mind wanders, and it will in meditation, it will repeat, just repeat this mantra softly or in your head: I am doing enough, I have enough, I am enough. And, you know, that's a big part of the path. That is a big part of meditation. I hope that you'll join me in 2021 for some of the fun upcoming events that start this month, including Experience the Etheric, which is a 5-week intensive course on how to connect to self, what is unseen, the spirit world, mediumship, psychic, spiritualism, intuition, awareness. That starts on January 23rd. And I'm also going to be doing soul guidance again with my colleague and friend Rumi Davis right in Norway. That starts late January sometime. And then, of course, I've got a demonstration coming up with the wonderful Penny Hayward in England. We're going to be doing a Endo 2-day workshop, so I hope that you'll join us for that in February. And if you just go to marclainhart.com, I'll put the link in. I think the link is in the description. If not, I'll put it in there. Go to my events page, and all the tickets are listed there for all the upcoming events in 2021. Mostly will be digital, virtual, Zoom, until we get past this pandemic. And what else? Boy, it's good to be back on the air. It's good to be connecting with you guys again for Mocha Mondays, to encourage you, to motivate you, to inspire you for the week ahead. That's what this show is all about. And I just want to say thank you for tuning in to today's live broadcast. I felt like I wanted to share something else with you, but I can't remember. I'll be back next week. How about that? So practice that breath, practice that mantra of acceptance. Try meditation practice. I know I'm on a fasting practice for this month. It's not a diet, it's a fasting to just lose weight and to better connect to what I do. But I also want to give a shout out to my big brother, Todd. It's been, some years, but, it's on this time frame that he passed away from brain cancer. He passed away on January 5th. And I believe it would be this day if we went back to when he passed. But I just want to give a big shout out to him in the spirit world. It's because of him and my other brother, Michael, who was murdered in the same month. January, you guys, always been a tough month for me with survivor's guilt. But I changed my focus this year and said no more, that I'm going to start living, because it's a privilege to get older and to live for those that no longer can live. And for years, I struggled with the month of January as being the dark, gloomy, rainy, which it is here in Seattle right now. But, going back to the memory of losing my brother to murder, losing my brother to brain cancer, all within the same month. And I can tell you, when we start the Experience the Etheric on January 23rd, that is actually an intentional date, because that's the date that my brother Michael was murdered. And that's a 5-week intensive, and it'll be great for your journey if you're interested. So I hope you'll get tickets and join me. There's a few seats open if you want to do that. But I just want to give them a shout out, because it's remembering those that are no longer with us, gone but not forgotten, but also acknowledging that they're never gone. They're just a thought away, and they're always a presence in love, memory, energy, and your thoughts if you just think of them. So if you've lost a loved one recently, or in 2020 or before 2020, just realize that they're just a thought away, and look for the signs, the symbols, and the synchronistic events that they'll work with you to communicate with you, or what we call after-death communications, or ADCs. So I ran a little bit over today. I got a little bit of a late start. I'll get better at being on time. But thank you to my team. For my team, I want to give you a quick affirmation for those that help me. And your card for this week is, well, it goes with the creative energy. I allow myself to be creative. So that's for my team behind the scenes that help me manage the show. I appreciate all of you. And again, I'll be back next Monday for another Metaphysical Mocha Mondays. Like I always like to say, until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate, and most importantly, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and find that diamond within. I'll see you next week for another Metaphysical Mocha Mondays, everybody. Have a great week, and stay motivated, stay inspired, stay encouraged, And we'll see you over in the Healing Cafe. Take care, everybody. Namaste.